Hello everyone, this is my first teaching memo slash video as session 1 has ended, albeit a short session, and session 2 has begun. My Red Sox are still in first place, clinging to a 3.5 game lead. However, I'm still in mourning over the Patriots' loss. But it's only one game, I keep telling myself. My condolences to all you Giants and Jets fans. Bad weekend. We are all 0-1. I celebrated my 50th high school reunion with some former classmates over the weekend. Many looked way too old to have graduated with me. Good thoughts go out to all the people of Houston and Florida. May they all be safe. Housekeeping. I always start my teaching memos with a little housekeeping. This section gets smaller as you all get accustomed to my course and working in Blackboard. By this time, you should have completed 4, count them, 4, assignments located in coursework by week. Session 1 assignments. The Academic Integrity Statement and Memorandum of Understanding, which can be found under the Getting Started link. This is simply clicking on and answering one question. I think one is true, false, and I think the other one you might have to put your initials. I'm not sure, but they are easy and quick to do, and they're not graded, so don't worry about getting a grade, but you have to complete them or I can't give you a final grade when the semester ends. The initial baseline survey. You do not, repeat, do not have to cite material, have a reference list in this first version. You only have to do that for the last version, which will be due on the last week of the session. This will be a pass-fail grade, and it's only worth 1%. So do not stress over it. Just try to give me an idea. I'm just trying to get an idea of what you already know. But what you should do is keep this in a folder somewhere and fill it out as you go through the course, because in the final version you will have to have references and citations. So keep that in mind. And you don't want to be bogged down at the end of the course saying, oh my God, I haven't done my final baseline survey. If you do it during the course, it'll be done when the course is over. You also have an optional discussion board. Most of you are participating in that, but several of you haven't. Introduce yourself and share a picture. When you go into that discussion board, let me just show you how you can share a picture. When I go into the discussion boards, I click on the discussions link here. There are 2 ways to get to them. You can get through it through the coursework by session, or you can click on this discussions link. I like the discussions link because it gives you this setup here. There's your groups. So when you go into Introductions Icebreaker, the way you add a picture, and I'll find mine here, is I'm going to click on the edit button so I can show you. This icon here lets you add a picture. So you browse your computer, you insert the picture, and then you can click on it and resize it, so it's not so huge. So that's how you do it. A lot of you are uploading your pictures as a attachment, which is this button here. That's not what you should be doing. Otherwise, I have to go in and change it. So the other thing that I'm looking for you to add is an avatar. I'm going to see if Amanda here in this group has an avatar. No, she doesn't. The way you do that, I'll remind you all again, is you go to the Truro College homepage. You go into personal information. You go into personal information, which is right up here. Personal information, which is under tools. Personalize my settings, and you'll see you can browse and add a picture. I'm not crazy about this picture. I may change that, but you can add an avatar. which every time you log on to the discussion board, you will be able to, we will be able to see your picture, which makes it much better for all of us. Okay. Lastly, I'm still waiting to hear from several of you in response to my welcome memo, which can be found at the bottom of the announcement page. And I'll show you where it is. If you go to the announcements, you'll see there it is, my welcome memo. You can download it or you can watch this video. Either way, whichever learning style you need, you have. But I ask you to do something in it, so please do that. Several of you have panicked when you submitted your baseline survey after the informal due date that I had placed in the Grade Center. Please understand that I do not deduct points for late work. The only thing that you will be missing is feedback, immediate feedback. So if you hand your assignments in a week, 2 weeks late, you're not going to get feedback from me for a couple of weeks. So keep that in mind. You may have already had assignments that you need that feedback to complete. So you'll see later in the course that deducting points for late work is a practice that distorts achievement. We're going to talk about grading practices during the last few sessions. I do, however, close the discussion board. So this discussion board is going to end Monday morning. When I log on in the morning to do my teaching memo, I close the discussion board, so you can no longer add posts to it. I reopen it after I've graded everybody. That way you can go back and look at some of your old posts and get information from them. So I'll close it for 4 or 5 days, and then I'll reopen it so you can have access to it. But you can't add, I will not grade any more posts after I reopen it. During each discussion board, I will occasionally add what I call a teaching memo post, which is optional. I'll add it to each of the groups. You don't have to reply, but again, to get the most out of this course, I would suggest responding, and I would suggest going in and looking for my posts and getting involved in those. I may respond to somebody individually, but anybody can get in on that response, in on that discussions. Just a reminder, to receive maximum credit for timeliness for your initial posting, it should be submitted within the first 4 days of the discussion board that it's open. So if it's open on Monday, you have to submit it by Thursday to get an A+. That's an A+. You have a week to make your initial post to get an A, to get a 4. So keep that in mind. So people will whine to me and say, "Hey, Dr. Mooney, I can't post during the week. I work at night, and blah blah blah," and that's fine. You can still get an A by posting on the weekends, making your initial post by Sunday. But I'm giving a little extra credit to those people that post early, because it's open for a whole week, and if nobody posts for that whole week, it's a waste. I can't interact with anybody, so that's why I do it. So if you want an A+, make your first post during the first 4 days. Also, on your initial post, you should upload. You need to upload it as an attachment into the coursework by week assignment folder. You'll see that there is a link to upload your initial post right at the bottom. Upload your initial post here, and what you need to do is you need to browse for it. Okay, not unlike the discussion boards where you cut and paste it into this text box. For this assignment to be checked by SafeAssign, and it's merely to be checked by SafeAssign, you need to attach it as a Word document or a PDF file. So remember that. And you have to click this plagiarism tool here. And then I will give you a pass-fail grade. but it's worth 1.1%. So keep that in mind. That's where you will upload that post, your initial post. Okay. Lastly, if you're going to share a reference that contains a website, use the link icon in the menu to make your link clickable. I'm going to use, I think it's, whose post? Michelle Condon, who's in my 20 section. You can see she's added a reference, and this is exactly how I want you to do it. You reference it, and that's only if it's new. You don't have to do that for if it's anything that I have already added in course materials or in the assignment instructions. It's only if you add something new. So she's sharing something about pre-assessments. Thank you, Michelle. It's exactly what I want you folks to do, is to increase our knowledge by finding other material and sharing it with us. But you'll notice she's also done a reference, and this looks like it's in good APA format. She's done this correctly. Notice that there's no capitals in the title. That's some mistake a lot of people make. But I'm going to edit her post. You can also edit your own post. I've had some people say, oh, Dr. Tom, can you delete my post? And the thing is, you don't have to delete it. Just edit it and change it. If I delete it, it deletes all the responses to it as well. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to highlight the link. I'm going to copy it, Control C. I'm going to use the link icon here. I'm going to paste it into the link path box. And then I'm going to click on the Open in a New Window. And you'll see that it turns into a live link. That way we don't have to cut and paste it. We can just click on it, and it will take us, and it'll take us to the link. And you'll notice it doesn't leave. We can still go back, and we're still in Blackboard. If you don't click on that Open in a New Link, it will take you out of Blackboard, and sometimes it messes it up. Here's another thing that these people have, Eva and Pascal have uploaded their initial post by attaching it as a document. Please don't do that. You do that when you're uploading it for Safe Assign, but when you're in a discussion board, please cut and paste the information. So I'm going to do it with this first one. I'm going to open it. And I'm going to cut and paste it and put it in. So just I'm going to you don't have to double space, and I don't know why I'm going to change the spacing on this. Just single space. I'm not looking for that. Whoever did this, that's correct. That's correct APA format, but you don't. The only thing I want are references and a reference list and appropriate citations. That's the only APA I want. So now I'm going to edit Eva's post, and I'm going to Control V, and there it is. So that's how I want you to submit your discussion board post. And Pascal, you can do that. Just cut and paste it and edit your post. Thank you. All right. What's next? This part is big ideas. Many of the discussions centered around the appropriateness of large-scale accountability tests. We will be exploring how these are made and how they compare with teacher-made tests, which no one seems to mind. No one seems to complain about teacher-made tests, even though most teachers do not know how to create an effective test. So we'll have that discussion a little later on. There was also conversation about formative assessment, which according to Black and Willem is one of the most powerful interventions that a teacher can use to improve academic achievement. So if you plan on being assessment literate, this is the way to go. Please look at additional course materials, and I'm going to point you to those right now. Here's the additional course materials folder. I have articles, activators, and summarizers, CST disability guide, new teacher resources, differentiating instruction resources, EdTPA special ed material, and here's a section on formative assessment. 60 formative assessments and 53 ways to check for understanding. Here's a link to resources for formative assessment. This is really awesome. It's from Edutopia, and it has a ton of information here. If you're looking for information on formative assessment, there it is. It's in additional resources, which I would suggest everybody take advantage of. There was I'm going to highlight what I consider one or two outstanding posts every semester. And each session, Sammy Dean from my 64020 section has shared a formative assessment that she uses in the classroom. I will show you that. You can see that I've also shared a link here on formative assessment from Edutopia, and again, I will be doing that as well. You can see she shared this graphic organizer that she uses as a formative assessment. So that's exactly what I'm trying to get everyone to do, is to share information, use this as a inquiry-based discussion board. There are others who just add a website and say, I found this interesting. Please don't do that. If you share a website, tell us why you shared it. I'm sharing this website because it shows that yada, yada, yada. In a couple of posts, someone was talking about something completely different and then shared a website about the pros and cons of standardized testing, and didn't even mention standardized testing in her post. So don't do that. If you're sharing a website, make sure you let us know why and why we should click on that link. So that's important. Let me talk about assignments. So every teaching memo, I talk about the assignments coming up. You're going to continue with the assessment literacy discussion board. If you haven't made your initial post, you get cracking. Your first quiz will be this week. I've tried to model the type of questions that you will be creating when you make your selected response tests later in the course. I've avoided true-false questions because I allow you to take every quiz twice, although I do have a couple of true-false quizzes which you can only take once. But naturally, a true-false quiz, if I let you take it twice, everybody would get 100. So allowing you to take a quiz twice is a way of using summative assessments in a formative way. I created the quiz discussion board to give you a chance to discuss the ones you got wrong. Now in this first quiz, I don't believe it lets you know there's a matching section, and I don't believe it lets you know which ones you got wrong. So I apologize for that. That's a Blackboard thing, and I've already made complaints about it, so I don't know if they've done anything to change it or not. When you talk about the test, don't give answers. That's not what why I'm doing this. That's cheating. That is cheating. Tell the people where they can find it. I found the answer to in Cohen and Spencer, chapter 3 on page 342. That's okay. You can tell them where to go to find it. But don't give the answers. If you do, I'm going to delete your post, even if it has responses to it. You also have 3 video quizzes, and this is the only time I'm doing this, but it's to get you to watch my posts and to show you that there's important information in my presentations, my video presentations. They're usually long. I would do it at I would do it maybe at one a day, one every couple of days. But you'll see in the coursework sessions by week, coursework by session, there's this week's presentation. Click on that, and you'll see that there is. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong session. That's the first session. Week 2 presentations. Each video there's a short quiz. If you click on it and then begin, you'll see there's a video and there's either 5 or 4 questions. The last one has 4 questions. Very simple, not hard. I'm just getting you to watch the video, so it's an easy 100. So make sure you do that, and that's it. So that's it for this week. I will be back with another teaching memo next Monday. Be good, and if you have questions, use the question discussion board, or you can email me.